tucked away in denim blue, nestled close where no one knew. My blade awaits the tasks to call, from paper thin to double drywall. I'm the edge of the everyday, sharp and silent and out of the way. Ropes and branches, keys and time, a pocket life, both yours and mine. Back to lo-fi. Fingers find me at the break of dawn, a twist, a flick, and then I'm drawn. Sunlight dances off my steel, a partner in your every deal. Through ink-stained notes and stubborn ties, I've seen the world through pocketed skies, a faithful tool.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back. Thank you so very much for joining me once again here on my main knife channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tashi Krypton with Kickstop. Tashi's large size, full-size Krypton with Kickstop is quite frankly the kind of knife that makes you question whether you've been carrying around sharpened garbage your whole life or if you actually know what you're doing. Because once you've got this in your hand, it kind of makes other knives feel like shit, especially in the same price range. Because this is something special. It is something different. I picked this thing up and I had a minor religious experience, only with more titanium and fewer robes. The live drop is tomorrow, Wednesday, July 17th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, that is not a pre-order. This is a live drop. Head on over to Steel Addiction. There will also be a slew of other dealers carrying them. But if you want to go direct to the source, it is Dave Stark over at Steel Addiction Custom Knives that made this deal happen, that coordinates all of the makers using Kickstop in these really awesome production knives. So that's where I would shop. I think you might also have the largest selection there too, because there's at least one, maybe two exclusive variations that are going to be on Steel Addiction. So keep that in mind. Now, let's start with the first thing you notice when you look at this knife, and that is the design. And that is 100% all Tashi. It looks like someone snuck a spaceship out of a science fiction film, folded it in half, and then sharpened one end. The blade, made from Elmax, because apparently anything else would be an insult, is so clean and crisp with its beautiful, clean, flat grind and the kind of super slicing power that makes you start looking around the house just for shit that deserves to be cut. Spoiler alert, your Amazon boxes never stood a chance. Let's talk about the specs very quickly here, and then we'll get into the rest of the knife. Your overall length is 8.5 inches with a blade length of 3 5/8 of an inch. Now, if you buy the small version, you're going to get a 3-inch blade. So there is a substantial size difference. This particular combination is the Arctic Storm carbon fiber in the black PVD. These are all going to be frame locks. They're all going to have the kickstop. The full size weighs 5.4 ounces. I would assume that the versions that have the zirconium inlays probably weigh a teeny tiny little bit more.
Please like and subscribe.
This one is $425 as it sits. The small with the 3-inch blade is $400 in the same look. There's also versions available with zirconium inlays and versions available with Damascus inlays. And there's going to be a dress version in full Damascus with raised zirconium inlays. Now, if I were shopping, that is the one that I would buy. Are you kidding me? Timascus and zirconium in one knife, and it's not $1,000. It's crazy. I want to say, no, you know what? I'm not even going to guess at what those are. The versions that have just the Timascus inlays in the regular titanium, those are 500. So the full Timascus with the zircon inlays has got to be a lot more, probably 650, $700. But still, that's a really, really nice price. Now, let's talk about the handle for a second. Machined titanium with inlays that are put in there so beautifully and so smoothly, you almost can't tell that they're there. The tolerances are tighter than your uncle's wallet, and the milling is so precise that it makes a Swiss watchmaker weep softly into his workbench. Here's one of my favorite features right here. Let me see if I can get the right amount of light on it. Here, you've got these two windows in the frame. Through this one, when the blade is closed, you read that it says Kickstop. When you flip it open, you'll see that it still says Kickstop, but now over here it tells you the blade steel, which in this case just happens to be LMAX. I think it's a neat little Easter egg that's hidden away on this knife. I love it. I think it's super cool. And here's a close-up view of the Kickstop flipper tab in action. Just the same as this Kickstop. And this is a Lee Williams model, the Abyss, that will be coming out very shortly after the Tashi. But there is the Kickstop there. Oops, blade's a little bit longer, dummy. And there's the Kickstop there. Beautifully done all the way around. Let me get the pocket length off of this because I have been carrying the hell out of this knife. I really do enjoy this. Now, this is not the first time we have seen these available. Go back, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago. It could have been more than 4 years ago now that I think about it. And the same exact knives were available. And they were the same price, by the way. So in this new era, the prices are still the same, which is kind of crazy. And by the way, yes, you did see me reverse flick that off of the fuller on the back side of the blade. You can do that, but it's a Kickstop. You're not going to. You're going to play with the Kickstop. Now, whichever way you go, whichever variant you choose, you really can't go wrong with it. I think they all look fantastic in their own unique way, and each one has a different flavor of shut the fuck up and take my money. It's solid without being a boat anchor. At 5.3 ounces, it is substantial. It's hefty enough that you know that you're holding onto something serious, but not so heavy that it feels like you're trying to pocket carry a friggin' crowbar. And then the very first time you open it, especially if you've never had a Kickstop before, it's almost life-changing. It is almost a religious experience. It is really, really, really cool. And this is Lee Williams' magical mechanical trick. A flipper that disappears once the blade is deployed, leaving behind no tab, no trace, like a ninja that only exists to say ta-da and vanish into the mist, as all ninjas do. The detent is so perfectly tuned that it might have been blessed by a monk. It doesn't snap open so much as it announces itself like a gentleman arriving fashionably late, smooth, controlled, and with an air of confidence. Because that's also you, isn't it? Yeah, you know it is. Lockup, as you can expect, is rock solid. The titanium frame lock engages with the kind of authority and certainty you wish your relationships had. And the smoothness of the action? Oh, ceramic bearings, of course. You don't buy a Tashi for a gritty bronze washer knife and finger gymnastics. You want it to be fast. You want it to be smooth. You want it to be stupidly sharp. And it is all of those things. In hand, the Krypton feels like it was made for you. Not you generically, you specifically. It's ergonomic without being clingy or controlling. It's contoured without being weird about it. The finger choil isn't there, but that's okay. You have a flattened area here that you could call a finger choil, so you can choke up on it if you want to. You don't have to. It's all right. If you need it, you do it. If you don't, it's not whining about being ignored. It's the knife equivalent of a good marriage. Supportive, reliable, and doesn't try to stab you in your sleep. Is it expensive? Of course it is. But so is therapy. And this knife makes me feel better. It's a knife that whispers, "You're doing okay, buddy," every time you flick it open. It's part tool, part sculpture, and part enabler for your increasingly elaborate rationalizations for buying another knife. Because now that you've seen this, you've already said to yourself, now I have to buy another damn knife. And this is it right here. If you missed out last time these were available, don't fuck it up again. Be here, make sure you grab one, because they're probably going to sell out twice as fast this time around, because people that had it before and maybe don't have one anymore are going to grab one. People that missed out last time and listened to all these people in all of these knife groups talk about how amazing this knife was, they're not going to want to miss out. They're going to grab one for themselves right now. And you need to be one of those people. And if for some reason you miss out on this, the abyss is coming right after it. And by the way, this is right about the size that the small version of the Krypton will be. This was also really good timing for them to bring out the Krypton because, well, this is the week that the new Superman released in the theater. And yep, I already took my kiddo to go see it. I thought it was good. It wasn't the best Superman. It wasn't the best superhero movie. It wasn't even the best superhero movie of the last 5 years, but it was good. It wasn't woke garbage like a lot of us expected it would be. It wasn't wall to wall friggin' jokes like most of us expected it would be. They did a really good job. And I'm at the point now where I will never second guess James Gunn's ability to cast people in the right role. He's done some crazy casting in some whacked out crazy ass movies. And he's done a really good job casting everybody. I mean, he's got a Superman that looks and feels the part. And it's really awesome. I'm always going to be a Henry Cavill fan. I think he was great. It was a different kind of Superman. This new Superman is the Superman more or less that I grew up with Christopher Reeve. It's a very similar type of Superman, and I really dug that. I thought it was cool. I like that hopeful, promising, uplifting, happier, I guess, kind of inspired feel to the overall movie. And they did a great job. And likewise, I do feel that Dave, Tashi, and Lee did a great job with these. Absolutely fantastic. Feels and operates 100% exactly like the originals from a few years ago. And I think that's super exciting. Congratulations to everyone who's going to be getting one of these. And if you're not planning on getting one, leave a comment down below. Tell us why you're not in a Kryptonian frame of mind. This is the week to be in that frame of mind, man. I realize 425, not a small amount of money to drop. But you know how it is in the knife collecting game. $425 is not a lot of money to get a really good knife, especially one that has a unique feature like the kickstop. And again, if you've never had a kickstop, you are going to love it. It's not a novelty that wears off in a couple of days. I'll say this, it is a novelty because it's not essential to the operation of the knife. What it does do, however, that makes it better than a novelty is it gives you something more. It is better than a regular flipper tab. Just from the positioning of where you're hitting it, you've got more leverage in relation from the flipper tab to the pivot to the detent. Well, detent, right back here. That little area right there is what makes or breaks a good flipper. And the geometry here in this is fantastic. And you really don't have to put any effort into it at all. And it just swings that blade open. Carries very well, by the way, for those that are wondering about that. Pocket clip is fantastic. It's nice and long, so you've got some good springiness to it without it being loose. And you've got this accordion style lock bar relief cut, so you're not going to tear up your pockets as quickly or easily as you might have on a standard cutout up against the pocket clip. Everything's completely blacked out, which I think is pretty darn cool. The Arctic Storm carbon inlays add a nice little bit of color, but blend in more so than anything else. And it makes this a rather understated knife overall. One of the cool things about this knife is it looks like it's an integral, but it's not. It's a two-piece design. Front and back sides go together seamlessly just about and create a look that looks like, it looks like a much more expensive titanium monolithic build. And that, my friends, is all I've got to say about that. Thank you so much for joining me as always. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section down below, and I'll do what I can to help answer them.